In the cozy, sunlit living room, Kago, the fluffy, chubby orange cat, was napping by the window, enjoying his lazy day. Suddenly, his owner, Nancy, called out from the other side of the room, "Kago, it's time to go to the vet." Her voice was cheerful, but Kago's ears perked up in alarm. The word, vet, sent a shiver down his spine. Kago was no fool. He knew exactly what that word meant. And it was something he wanted no part of. He quickly darted out of the living room, disappearing into the hallway. Moments later, Nancy began searching for Kago. She peeked under and around the furniture, standing beside the bed and calling for him softly. But Kago was nowhere to be found. She frowned, puzzled, and continued her search. Meanwhile, Kago had found the perfect hiding spot in a dim corner of the wardrobe. He sat there, rubbing his paws together, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. He had evaded capture, and now, he was plotting his escape. If he could just reach the front door without being seen, he might be able to make a run for it. Carefully, he tiptoed towards the door, his tail held high in concentration. Each step was taken with the utmost caution, his body low to the ground, his eyes darting back and forth to make sure he wasn't spotted. But just as he was about to reach the door, Nancy suddenly appeared. Kago froze mid-step, his heart racing. His eyes widened in shock as he saw her standing there, her brow furrowed in confusion. In a flash, Kago turned and bolted towards the curtains, diving behind them in a desperate attempt to hide. He pressed himself against the wall, trying to make himself as small as possible. But his silhouette was clearly visible through the thin fabric, giving him away. Before he could make another move, Nancy scooped him up, holding him securely in her arms. Kago's plan had failed. He hung limply, looking sulky and defeated, as she carried him out of the house. The car ride to the vet was quiet. Kago sat in the front seat next to Nancy, peering out of the window with a resigned expression. The wind rustled his fur as he gazed at the passing scenery, knowing that there was no escape now. As the car pulled up to the vet's office, Kago's eyes went wide with fear. The building loomed ahead, and he realized with a sinking heart that all his efforts had been in vain. The door opened, and Nancy gently guided him inside. Kago walked into the vet's office with his head lowered, his tail dragging behind him. Nancy smiled encouragingly, but Kago couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. But then, something surprising happened. As the vet gently petted him, Kago began to relax. The soothing touch calmed his racing heart, and before he knew it, he was sitting calmly on the examination table, feeling almost comfortable. The vet prepared a big syringe, and Kago closed his eyes, bracing himself for the worst. He tensed, waiting for the sharp pain, but it never came. All of a sudden, the injection was over. Kago opened his eyes in surprise, feeling nothing but a slight prick. He looked up at the vet, astonished and even a little happy that it hadn't been so bad after all. As they left the vet's office, Nancy held Kago's paw as they walked home together. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over them. Maybe visiting the vet wasn't so bad after all. Vaccinations are super important for cats, because they keep them safe from nasty illnesses like rabies, cat flu, and other sicknesses that make it hard for them to breathe. Getting their shots helps them stay healthy, and stops these germs from spreading to other furry friends. Taking your cat to the vet for regular vaccinations is one of the best ways to ensure they live a long, healthy, and happy life.